So even if you've done this before, every space now literally has a different format. So this one, I'll give you the history, and you guys are all spread out, and I'll do 1 or 2 round robins, probably maximum of 2, just based on the amount of cars that are in here for the limited space. And I'll be taking a lot of notes, and I'll regroup us to give you all of the answers. Speaking of which, communication devices, once I let you guys loose, I will not be giving you guys questions here, like what color was George Washington, kind of show him a few extra tips and tricks about that particular camera, and that'll give the Spirit Box people a chance to listen in. So yeah, let's spread out, let's stay out of the muggles' way, and they're going to ask you guys questions anyway. You guys all got blinky light devices, like what the hell are you guys up to? So yeah, spread out, let's have a good time, and I'll be with everybody in just a minute. He keeps handling the camera. Very good.
Hello, my name's Jamie. Who are you? Hello. I'm not scared of you. I'm here to hang out.
No, it says Limu.
What this looks like from the outside. People looking at us walking around the parking lot.
I know.
Yeah.
We look like idiots.
Yes.
I love it. Because I could give two shits.
Open arms. It was playing the song open up like that was the lyric. Come to me, that never that was me.
It sucks when you actually know all of the artists. So yeah, keep listening. I'm going to be doing still a round robin because I haven't even talked to the other Spirit Box people yet. With your camera, it's going to pick up on shadows, just so you know. It's not a ghost on the ground, it's you. And anything with leaves is not your friend. So bushes, trees, you're getting the point. All leaves are in front of another leaf. It's not a hangman in the tree. It's just putting a stick man together.
Make
Correct.
lasting memories.
Make lasting memories.
That's a good one.
It is, but it's very vague.
I hear what I hear, Nick.
I know. But yeah, yours is a lot of debunking. So that's usually the last of the 3 cameras that I'll bring out, just depending on the size of my groups.
Gotcha.
Just because it is more
Did you
debunking
just hear
than
her
anything
name
else.
is Rio?
Gotcha.
Hers isn't synced up with
Oh,
yours.
Shannon.
Yeah.
Duran, her name is Rio.
Yeah. It's not synced up with yours. That's the beauty of this. I don't time it like, hey, click, they work together. So that's why everybody gets something different. You might want to, do you have an antenna in? Yeah, good. You want to
Does
keep
it
the
matter?
antennas in.
Yes.
You don't want to give it too much.
And
Yeah.
yes.
What am I?
Gotcha.
Am I okay?
Yep, you're fine. She had her antenna extended. I'm like, I know one of
Gotcha.
those.
I was thinking headphone jack. I was like, yeah, headphone jack is in.
No, keep the antenna
Whose
in.
name is Rio is what I would like to know,
I
because
don't-
they said her name is Rio.
I mean, Rio's probably new. Rio.
What do you got? I see you type
I've got a lot.
Go for it. Hit me.
Trusted, righteous. I could never. I got listen twice. Separately, I had 40, and I also had 7. Give me, learning, kid, temperature, thought, like FOUGHT. It's you and her house.
Still all very vague. I know that the 40 and
Yeah.
the 7 are very specific because of numbers.
Yeah. Everything else was kind of like,
Yeah, it's very, very vague stuff.
yeah.
But like her house is, like, that's depending on who's here, who's actually
Right.
talking.
Yeah. Totally.
So we'll kind of see how that's going.
Sounds good.
All right, let's do one more round with everybody and regroup us. Yeah, you're gonna be really good at this. I might actually have to speed you up. It's almost like you're giving me too much.
Sorry, I'll slow down.
No, we'll stop this call. Have you done this before?
No.
Okay. So go ahead. You don't know what's gonna stick because I haven't given you any of the answers. And I'm withholding information. So I'm on some. So that I'm gonna have a giant grab bag. You wear actually grab bag. And when actually
Some things I'm hearing and I can't it's like it's there, but it's not there. So then I feel like
you want that.
you need to give more or it's not there.
Right. So if you kind of like just have drop pieces of it,
Yeah.
kind of Spirit.
Love.
Spirit. Love.
Spirit and love.
Yeah.
Mickey came back again.
Oh, it's gonna go around again. It's going through all this station cycle. It's not weird. Yeah, cameras by all means. If you start
Now listening to New Life.
yeah, the charging port on this is going to give me a lot of trouble.
Perfect time.
Just heard the name Mike. Not bad.
She had perfect time.
Okay.
What if?
Okay, it should be good now. I would just be very careful with it at this point. The cord's been a little on the touchy side. I even swapped out the cord this morning to change the charging port. So Barb, let's go ahead and get you on mute again. Did you hear anything along the way?
It was hard to hear anything. Like I was hearing things, but not anything I could hear.
Okay. Other spirit boxes, what else did we hear?
I had teen with diamond center. That's what it says. Savings. I put my hands up in Philadelphia.
90%.
I like Philadelphia and Center. Those are the two that stand out to me the most.
Oh, I had one prop.
You have what?
It said prop.
Pop.
COP.
That's, thank you. So at least they gave us something so far.
Yeah.
Last mean anything to you?
Last 4 or 5 terms. What do we got going on in there?
Wasn't a whole lot coming back. Disease, Grace, Elias, and Owen.
Challenge? That was while we're here. Alright, Barb, I'm used to listening to that, so go ahead and put it on mute, because if it's not, I'm going to be focused on that instead of why we're here. Philadelphia makes sense in Center for sure. When did you get disease? Was it closer to the Pinckney Mansion or closer to here?
We were just coming through the alley.
Okay, so it's still closer to Pinckney. So again, if we get the word cancer, which has been showing up more and more, then obviously the disease and cancer actually tie up to Eliza's death. So I'm pretty going one way or the other. So Jamie, the easiest way for you, because there's nobody down there, is just to grab that top handle and hold it at your side like it's a suitcase. And that way you get to pay attention to us too. So you don't necessarily have to pay attention to the camera. Actually, believe it or not, you can actually get a more steady picture if you're not paying attention to it. I know it seems weird, but that's how waitresses are able to balance all of those glasses. They're not staring at them. So it's kind of the same principle. You don't need to keep it in the center of the circle. We do want to try to get an angle going one way or the other of the alley. So the best way for the other 2 cameras would be actually to be on this side if you want to, since there is a group on the other side of the way we came in. So it depends on wherever you guys want to go. Just trying to give you guys the best opportunity for the angles. So remember that Julia and Sarah, you guys are looking for an 8 or above
I've
while
had
we're
an
here?
8.
What'd you get?
I've had an 8 since we've been standing here.
Nice. Okay. Believe it or not, that's actually pretty rare. We don't normally
I
see
was gonna say
a whole
I
lot.
think the last time we didn't have anything.
You mean the past 3 times you probably didn't have anything, because it's more than likely we won't get anything, but
Don't you forget about me.
he knows I'm not going to forget about him. So here's
Come
why we're here.
on.
Well, this guy follows me around. I was actually going to take this out of my route, but this guy literally shows up from every stop moving forward, because his story's been told for the past 40 to 50 years, and I'm bringing the only people that can actually communicate back to him. Also, every place we go to is going to be near a place of raised emotion for him. So it all started to make sense when I started to see the subtle breadcrumb clues all around town. I'm like, oh, that's why he lived here. That's why he came from there. That kind of mentality. So this location, I've decided just to keep it in. This tour is probably going to pass through us, just so you know, this coming down the alley the way we came in. We'll just split the seas the way we split that other tour and kind of let them pass through. They're going to be telling the same story that we are, by the way. I'm just going to give you different details because we're ghost hunting. We're not on a campfire marshmallow story like that.
was fun. This one?
All right, so
So ironic.
Oh my god, you didn't walk on by.
Died just as you just popped up. I mean, you're magical, man.
I don't put those words in there.
What are this? What came up?
Divide.
Divide, just as we.
Just as we
And
started.
so did the walk on by part
on by.
of the same song.
Can't make this shit up, guys. I promise you.
Funny.
So I will be writing that one down because it does coincide with
It's
him.
funny.
For sure. It is. But that's life. This is what happens for me. So I hate to say like it's I know I'm not showing like full laughter, but this is again I almost expect things like this from this guy that comes out of this location. Here's why we're here. The Dueler's Alley piece. That's why we're all here. They're about to tell the same damn story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details for all the communication devices. Here's how it goes. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. The two people listening to the spirit boxes at this point, if the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. It's him saying hello. But I think he already has between the two little correlation pieces we've already had. But anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here from Rhode Island. So where's my Ouija board device? Ellie, where you at?
Yes.
Look for the letters R.I. for Rhode Island.
Okay.
So he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash flow that she just received, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after her money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor, and he comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not. On his way into town, he was set up to be robbed and killed by a coachman. So it's kind of like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world if you think about it. Now, the coachman, somebody was walking by and knew him, and the person walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. Do those initials sound familiar to you guys?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. That's exactly why Ellie has a device that she's using. I was getting RI all the time on regular spirit boxes, so I bought Ellie's device so that way I can verify it. We've had it about 7 or 8 times in the past year, so only on Ralph's name, not the Rhode Island. So now I know who it belongs to, because we might have Ralph down here too. I know, right? This alley gets very long. Moving on. Ralph tells the doctor, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me, man. I got friends at 59 Church Street, and they'll rent you a room. You'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. She gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they could be married. And Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is the reason I was going to take the story out of my damn route, because it's a giant cliche. I hate cliches. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. Moving on. Dr. Ladd, well, there's a reason why we're in Jeweler's Alley. I haven't told you about that part yet. We're getting to it. I had to give you the intro. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they are arguing over the new actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. And then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly between the two gents, and they go their separate ways. Ralph goes to his friends at the newspaper and places an ad, telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc saw this ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. I want everybody to keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. It's kind of a dumb argument, and somebody's going to die over this. So they came down, back to back, took 10 paces, they turned. Doc points his gun in the air, shoots. Didn't want to kill his friend, just to get the courage and the bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet still. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out 2 things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. And secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed because obviously he died. Now, every tour that comes down here, which is all 338 of us, we all come down here. Yes, there are 339 ghost tours in Charleston. There is a lot of us. We all come down here and they're telling their friends, like their guests, to listen for the whistles. We have 3 cameras running in my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, it's going to be on one of those 4 devices. However, yes.
There's a song where it starts with a whistle and it came out like
She's
some
putting
80s
the cart before
song.
the horse, yeah.
Some 80s song came on, just the whistle part.
It was the Patience from Guns N' Roses, so I can almost guarantee it. So
No, I don't know
now
yet.
normally, if we get the whistle, there's normally the word doctor that comes immediately from a commercial thereafter. Almost like, doctor, it's the whistling doctor. I get it dozens upon dozens of times. When I'm actually going through this recording, just so everybody knows, I'm not looking for this stuff. I listen to minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever pops up in that 1 minute time frame, that's what pops up. I can't tell you how many times I have doctor, dozens that have been coming down here. So just take that for what it's worth. Yeah, oh, every rose has a story.
No, it's not that one either.
It's on the recording. We'll get it later. So, if you're going to try this on your own, and you're going to walk all the way through here with the voice recorders from your phone, just know that every local knows the damn story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley. It's just something we do here. I do have a few disembodied whistles that I can't debunk on like much slower nights. So take that for what it is. But I've actually been kicked out of here. I can't take you all the way through here, which is why I'm telling you to do this shit on your own. So let's talk about how I got kicked out, because that's the fun part of the story. And then I'm going to tell you about the next place I've been kicked out of, because that's the reason why I had to change up the next location. So the next location, I would normally tell you a big, giant, long pirate story. It was super great, and I can't do the pirate story anymore. But let's talk about how I got kicked out of here first. There was a wall up this way. So there used to be a wall, before this was Dueler's Alley, halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this was called Cow Alley. So the reason why they called it Cow Alley, all the livestock in the city of Charleston was down here. So cows, goats, chickens, you name it, it was down here. I'm telling you this because that means the bricks on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, fingerprint swipes, and others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. Nothing paranormal about that brick. You already know how I feel about cemeteries. That's the last place you're going to find the child that made that handprint, just so you know. However, November 26, 2020, my entire group of 10, same size as you guys, all huddled around the damn brick, waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and we're standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm trying to be respectful, not realizing I was out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So, the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter, who was on the tour that night, thought it was hysterical because Dad's getting yelled at, and she thought it was great. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work on Thanksgiving. I don't work holidays. Well, Thanksgiving primarily because I used to work in upper management for Walmart. You guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I'm never working another Thanksgiving in my life. You got the point. So the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had and I told him what happened so I could figure out what happened or what to do next. And he basically said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. He was laughing just like my daughter was, by the way. I'll just point that out. And he said, you got to reroute them. But what I told the group was, I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen there. I'm into vampires, not pirates. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating, but somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. It was going to be Anne Bonny, famous female pirate. I took them around the corner, told them what I knew about piracy in Charleston. Somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what that meant. I wrote it down. Again, this is the fun part for me where I get the research. Turns out, we were there on November 28th of 2020, and Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. Yes, I was kind of like, well, damn it. I was actually quite pissed because pirate stories come from pirate lore. That's a lot of research. Pirate lore was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. That means whenever you guys found something, that was a lot of books for me to read to be able to verify it. So, we will not be doing, obviously, the pirate story tonight. We are going up and we're going to be doing a whole new experiment with Logan's camera. That's why it's important that I get that thing up and running again properly so that way we can get the proper footage because we're going to be dealing with an apparition at that location. It's another very popular stop for other ghost tours because they normally end there based on the apparition that could appear before them, and there is a photograph that will be involved. Of course, if we have to wait, I will give you the story ahead of time, and then we will get Logan and all the both other cameras up there to be filming in that area at the same time. So in the event we do capture the apparition from his camera, I'll know how the other two cameras react with full-blown apparitions. So this is kind of an experiment for me and you guys at this point. Not to mention all the spirit boxes, including yours, Barb, will be, like while we're working and they're filming, you will be unmuted and listening in, because we're going to take over that whole little corner of a space and kind of see what we can get. And then I will explain our last two stops, because they are completely different than what we've been doing from the entire night. So, any other major craziness that I need to know about? We did get a whistle. I got to write that one down.
I can't think of the damn song.
I had a few things, but I don't know if it's anything related, but I didn't pick it. I had just the words me down, low, 55 miles an hour. Around the time you were talking about the, like the room the doctor was staying in, I got no, no, no in a song.
Okay.
I got the phrase beyond the world, California, the road, and
writing down California just because your guys' spirit boxes love to predict like the next person on my tour, and I don't know who they are. So if there's a name that pops up around that from a recording, I might, let's say it's Nick, and she hears the name Nick. She goes, oh, it's your name, super great. Then we have California, and I have a Nick from California on tomorrow night's tour. I usually see that like 10 to 12 times a year.
Yeah.
So again, I always write down the weird things that you normally wouldn't hear from a South Carolina radio station.
I'm so annoyed I can't think of that song.
It'll come
I
around.
know, it's just, it's like in
Any numbers, Sarah? No. Nothing? Other than that 8? Julia, nothing out of yours? Any other words, Bob? All right, let's get out of this hot ass alley. If you have a camera, you can keep it running if you want to. We'll go up around the corner. If we have to wait, we'll stop them while I tell you the story. And then, that was probably no. Here's what to expect. Did you figure yours out? Perfect. Did you figure yours out?
Oh yeah.
All right, let me see. Make sure. Awesome. Good job. Don't put anything on yet. I'll take yours. Kind of explains to people listening what to expect. Again, if you're too loud, very tap you on the shoulder. I'll bring you over. Try to keep your voice nice, even tone.
Can you wave your arm?
Family member will lift up your earmuff and say the word louder. We'll try to keep things nice and simple. You're going to repeat everything you hear as you hear it. So if you hear it, say it. It's just that simple. When the attitude is yes, no answers, you don't know what I'm asking. That's the beauty of this. So you're going to have your spirit box loud enough so you can't hear me. We'll do this for 10 minutes, no longer than that, unless of course things are going really well. That is perfectly fine.
It kind of looks like a shadow though. But now it's like not there. There it is. Oh.
I'm not getting anything. At least not that I know
Those stories.
With that very bluey green stuff like that.
Can you make out what is it just abstract?
It's very cool. Whatever it is. It's kind of like
on social media.
Didn't she just say delete app? Henry, these are not terms that you should be using, probably not things you fully understand about our technology. Let's try to find words that you would recognize to be able to describe your work. What did you do for work? Keep it simple, Henry. Tired of me being here, just tell me. Are you the only spirit here with us tonight? Did you bring somebody else with you?
How?
Did you bring the doctor? That's a yes no question.
I messed up.
Okay, try again then. Henry? Did you bring Dr. Ladd with you? Dr. Ladd's house is literally right around the corner, everybody, in case you're wondering why I'm
Or a
asking about it.
timetable. In this position.
Henry Timrod. Can you speak with you directly? No, all other spirits step away, please. Let's focus on you tonight. Dr. Ladd's here. He can give us his
On
code.
Monday.
No, it's Friday. We're going to talk to you now. Dr. Ladd's here. You can give us your code word, but that's it. His code word is purple, everybody. So in case you see that on one of the word generators over there.
I got live.
Remind me to
Major
write it
League
down.
Baseball.
Henry, back to your work. You want to talk about one of your family members? You can do that too. This is Mike. He's looking at the blue box tonight. He can give us images. I'm sure he would like to not be staring at the galaxy all night. Or image.
Solid gold.
Henry,
There was a guy in charge.
who's the guy in charge of America during your time? That would verify that you're here. Who was the president? You guys all know who I'm talking about, right? Civil War? Lincoln.
October 22. 4th of July.
Sunday, October 23rd. Close but no cigar. Wow, that was close. I was expecting it. I was gonna like, right on my brain. What's the right number? Henry, don't forget about Emma over here.
An increased risk.
She's like really struggling.
never-ending mountain.
Well, it feels like it's never ending that I keep coming back to talk to you. This is how I learn about you, Henry. You gotta tell me.
Barrel.
Barrel? Barrel or barrel? What kind of gun?
Risk, remember.
Barrel and gun makes sense, right?
And then she just said risk and remember. Can you show us what the gun looked like?
Real.
Who do you want to ask? Henry, or you want to ask? Because all of these clues that are coming through might be relevant to Mary. The barrel, the gun, remember?
Take me home tonight.
Henry, are you left or right-handed?
Nick, when I see the image in the galaxy or above it,
It would be in front of it. It would take its place.
and the galaxy would disappear?
Oh, just kind of fade.
It was me.
Okay.
Come and take me.
Henry, left or right-handed?
When I'm with you. Author.
Good job. Thank you for that.
Combat.
I think I see it in like a shadow. Like a silhouette.
Okay. Is there anything else going around that silhouette? Henry, I like author and combat. Can you tell us about what war the combat took place?
The master.
Get her a quick tap on the shoulder.
It's also as if she has a helmet on.
Henry, can you tell us what war you served in?
I see his hand. His hand came apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers.
Officiate.
Hand blown off?
No, like a hand just by itself. It's below the galaxy.
Where's the thumb?
It's got to be a left hand. Pinky, long finger, yeah.
I like it. Yeah. That's where you're from, isn't it? Men up from Mars? Women from Venus? Henry, I can understand where this is going. It's kind of a big stretch for us, but I like all of the little breadcrumbs. Can you continue?
Just walked up.
Just walked up. They did just walk up. Barb, do you have any questions? Did you ask Henry? Normally you don't go to city crowd, but you did pretty well with that one. That one actually worked out really well. I like it. Did you have a question?
You do certain things well.
Next stop. Yeah. Henry?
Vilified.
Garment. Henry, be more specific about the garment.
Far away. Can't imagine leaving.
I know that you haunt other spaces too, Henry. I appreciate when you do come down and talk to us. Can you give us something a little bit more specific?
65. My back.
I'm trying to remember the year of Willie's birth, everybody. I want to say it
Whoa.
was
I see his face.
describe the face. Main feature that I would look for on
The news.
is a
1879.
now it just keeps coming
Your
back.
sword.
You got about
Fine.
line?
Less.
Overnight.
Henry, we're gonna wrap this up. It's been about 10 or 11 minutes. Can you tell us good night?
Twisters. Servants. 5-5.
Henry, we're gonna wrap it up. Tell us good night, please. Henry going once.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
40 years.
I see a woman with lipstick and a red dress
Shout out.
with a kind of a crown or
Lead.
some sort of hat.
West Wing.
She has a lot of makeup on, red blush on her cheeks, some kind of necklace on her neck.
Henry, who is this woman in the picture? Can you tell us?
It's almost like in a frame. It's a picture. I see the frame.
What's the time frame?
Oh, it's gone.
But what was the time era for the dress, so to speak? If you
It
have
was very old. It was definitely 1700s,
Oh.
maybe even older.
Okay, Henry going once.
There is more
Okay.
inside.
Weird how they toggle tonight. Like, I was worried about her at the beginning, and now she's fine. Henry, can you give us something a little bit more specific before we wrap it up? We're way over our time. The therapy session is over. I charge by the minute.
All because you let him.
Clarinet. $500.
Henry, be more specific. Going once. Going twice. Alright, let's tap these ladies out. Mike, go ahead and throw that thing off your face. Nobody get up.
Oh,